Hi, my name is Lance Goodell. I'm a member of the PTR, an organization for tennis teaching pros. Today we're going to be talking about the serve. I'm going to be showing you 3 different kinds of serves today: first serve, second serve, and a slice serve. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about positioning for singles and for doubles when you're serving. So if you're ready to learn about the serve, let's get started. Okay, so before we get into the actual strokes themselves, the 3 different types of serves, let me talk to you a little bit about how to position yourself on the baseline, your service position. There's a lot of different schools of thought about how to stand. What I'm going to be teaching you is your basic classical technique of how to stand at the baseline when you're serving your first serve. All right, you line yourself up with your left foot at about a 45-degree angle to the baseline. Your right foot is comfortably behind you, approximately shoulder width, and that'll put your left shoulder pointing directly into the box that you're serving into when you're serving into the deuce court. All right, you start out in the very beginning, leaning forward. The ball is in your left hand. You put 2 or 3 fingers underneath the throat of your racket. The ball is held right here, like this. And you start out with your racket pointing in the direction you want the ball to go. As you take your racket back, you're going to lean back with your backswing. You drop your arms down. Your arms go down together and they come up together. Your racket drops down behind your back in what we call the back scratch position. At this point, you're going to be leaning forward. Your hips rotate, your shoulders come around. You go up to meet the ball, out in front, about a foot in front of you. Snap your wrist, direct the face of the racket right out toward where you want the ball to go. Your racket will slightly turn as it comes down and finish right alongside the left-hand side of your body, and then you immediately get into a good ready position behind the serve so that you're ready for the return. And that's a basic classical service motion. Okay, so before we actually hit the serve, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about footwork. The footwork I'm going to show you is a basic classical technique of how to stand when you're serving. This is what I was taught. This is what I teach people today. There's a lot of schools of thought on how to position your feet, but this is a classical technique. All right, you start out with your left foot approximately a 45-degree angle to the baseline. Your right foot is comfortably behind your left, approximately shoulder width apart. That way you have a stable foundation. All right, then you hold your racket out in front. The ball is in your left hand if you're right-handed, of course. And you hold the ball either in the first 2 fingers and the thumb, put the other 2 fingers underneath the throat of the racket, and this is the position you start out with. Now, in this position, you'll notice my left shoulder is actually pointing into the court, my racket is pointing into the court, and I'm ready to go. So, when I start the motion down, when my arms go down together, I lean back, and as they come up, I begin to lean forward, drop down, bring the racket up to the point of contact, snap the wrist, racket turns on the way down, you follow through and finish right about here, and then you come around to a good ready position so that you're ready to get the return. Now, the grip that you're going to use for your first serve is a continental grip. And if you go back to the segments on the ground strokes, you'll remember continental grip is located halfway between the forehand grip and an actual backhand grip. So it would actually be on this edge of the handle right here. So that would be your forehand, your continental grip. Okay, so that was a demonstration of how to hit your first serve using a continental grip. Now, let's suppose you miss your first serve. When you hit a second serve, you're going to want to change things a little bit. You want to add a little bit more spin to the serve. So now you want to go to a backhand grip, and you're going to start out looking exactly the same, but when you draw your racket back this time, you're actually going to draw the racket back a little bit further away from your body. The first serve, remember, the racket went straight down this way. The second serve is going to go out a little bit away from the body, so that when you bring your racket up and around, you're going to get more shoulder rotation right here. So that when you go up to meet the ball, you're really going to go up from about 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and the racket will go out this way before it actually comes down here. And then you'll be going back to that ready position so that you're ready to receive the return of serve. Okay? Again, you start out the same way you do on your first serve, only you've got a backhand grip now. And when you draw your racket back, instead of drawing it back straight down and up behind you, now it's going to go out a little bit out to your side like this. And what that'll do is it allows you to rotate your shoulders more to get a little further around the ball, so you're going more like this rather than like that. Okay? And again, it looks like this. Here, here, and around. And then you come around and finish the same way you did on the first serve in a good ready position so that you're ready for the return of serve. Now the backhand grip, if you remember, back on our segment on the backhand, you take the knuckle of the forefinger and you move it from the right side of the handle to this upper right bevel. So it'll look like this. Go from here to here. And that'll allow you to more slice the ball up here rather than hit it flat. Okay, now, you've hit your first serve, you've hit your second serve. But I want to show you a little bit of something about how to hit a slice serve. Let's suppose you want to pull somebody wide and you're playing doubles. You'd be standing over there, for example. Now you want to take advantage of being out a little bit wider on the court. So now you want to kick the serve a little bit wider off the court so that they have to run into the wall to get it. All right, so you have what we call an extreme backhand grip. You go from your regular backhand and you move it over another notch. Now, when you hit the slice serve, you're also going to want to toss the ball a little bit further out to your right so that when you go to hit the ball, you're going to go out there to hit it and your racket's facing over there. That'll put a slice on the ball, but also gives you a greater angle going into the court. So what will happen is the ball will hit and kick out away from your opponent, causing him to really run out of position to get to the ball. And a lot of times people can't even play it. So it's a great serve to use in doubles. So now we've covered the first serve using a continental grip, the second serve using a backhand grip, and then the third serve, which was a slice serve, using an extreme backhand grip. And that was all done here in a position for singles. The same thing would apply over here for doubles. And when you do play doubles, you're going to want to move to your right over here. And the position for doubles is anywhere from 1 foot from the single sideline to about 3 feet over. Now you might be asking, well, why am I moving over that far? Because all my buddies stand over there. Well, the reason being that in doubles, you've got a partner covering that half of the court. And if you stand over here, you're occupying the same airspace as his forehand volley. So you want to move over to your right so that when you finish the serve, you're in your half of the court and you can cover your half without any problem. So this is why you move over to the right. It also, by the way, gives you a better chance to do two things. In doubles, you want to try to play the serve more down the center, which means that he's more likely to hit the return to your partner at the net who's just waiting to put it away. You also have a better chance of hitting a slice serve and hitting it further out of the court, making it even more difficult for him to reach. So there's a lot of advantages to standing over here. So don't be afraid to do that. Again, your ready position is going to be identical. All the motions are going to be the same. The grips are going to be the same. You're just standing in a different position, getting a just slightly different angle. The first thing I'm going to talk about is on the first serve, we said continental grip. And again, that pulls this knuckle of your forefinger, over this edge of the handle right here. Remember, on the forehand, the knuckle was on the right side, but for the continental, it's over this edge. Now, when you hit your second serve, you're going to want to use a backhand grip, and that'll take that same knuckle over to the top right bevel, and it'll look like this. All right? And then if you want to use the extreme backhand grip, you move the knuckle just a little bit further over to this top edge here, like this. Okay? And that gives you your wider angle for the wide angle serve. So again, we're talking about first serve, a little flat, second serve with a little bit more spin, third serve is a slice serve, and that ball kicks out away from your opponent. 3 different grips, 3 different serves.